Namo Buddhaya. Humbly, I offer my respect to most venerable bhikkhus and bhikkhunis. My dear Dhamma sisters and Dhamma brothers, ladies and gentlemen, today we are in the month of Magha, a wonderful occasion to commemorate the Parinibbāna of Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Theri. We can use this occasion to recall her life as a bhikkhuni, something which is very meaningful to us, because some of us have also chosen to live a life as bhikkhunis. Following her spiritual path, we can learn from her experiences, from her way of thinking and her way of life, so that we can inspire ourselves and thus urge ourselves to be better bhikkhunis. So much we can and must improve. It is interesting to see that Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī decided to live a life as a bhikkhuni after King Suddhodana passed away, meaning she was no longer young when she made that brave decision. If we see around us now, there are many Buddhist women who are still young, still beautiful, still strong, still healthy, and in these conditions, of course, they can do so many things, but how many of them are willing to leave their pleasant conditions and situations, their worldly luxury, in order to pursue a noble goal, Nibbana? Not even 0.0 something %. But look at Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī. I am so amazed by this extraordinary woman. She had passed her physical strength. She had lost her physical beauty. She was young no more. She was befriended with aging, maybe with many diseases. In general, women like her would have lost their energy, lost their struggles, lost their hopes. Not Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī. She chose to use the rest of the time she still had and run as fast as possible, the best way possible, to the final goal, Nibbana. Old age did not prevent her from going to the cessation of suffering. We see that her painful struggle gave a wonderful fruit. She attained arahantship. Despite her weak physical conditions, she generated wisdom, enlightenment, and purity. Indeed, the mental quality took charge in winning the victory, a goal attainable by exerting the human strength, human energy, human endeavor, just like what our great teacher, the Buddha, showed himself. Thanks to Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī, 500 Sakya women also took the same path, following her example, becoming bhikkhunis. Thus, at her era, for the first time, Bhikkhuni Sangha came into being, with the 500 bhikkhunis ordained. 4 pillars were completed, ready to contribute to Buddhism, to society, and the world, and to women. The life of Bhikkhuni Pajāpatī Gotamī shows us how much wisdom was needed to come to that stage, and more importantly, behind all that, how much hardship she experienced, how much she struggled with all her might to attain what she could win. With human strength, with human energy, with human effort, just like the teacher she adored. The Buddha had shown her the path through his life as an example, and as a true disciple, she faithfully followed the path the best way she could. It was wonderful that she had the support and company of 500 other bhikkhunis who struggled together with her. Look at the situation now. How many bhikkhunis are there at present? How many people are interested in spiritual life? The number of population is very big, almost 8 billion, much more than what it was in the Buddha era. But it seems the strong current of present life has flowed to the other end, to suffering. Still everybody says they want happiness. That is why Dhamma is so much more needed to bring human beings to the cessation of suffering. That is why the existence of Bhikkhuni Sangha is much more needed to show the path to liberation. But alas, it is not easy to come in contact with Dhamma. People need lots of good karma, lots of merits to enable them to go to the direction of Dhamma. Only then they will be fortunate enough to understand what Dhamma is. Aren't we bhikkhunis lucky to have Dhamma as our protector? That means we have done enough good karma in the past. We have accumulated enough merits. And we bhikkhunis are very fortunate to have Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī as our example. She has given us so much strength in this life as bhikkhunis. Let's learn from her. My dear Dhamma sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen, one thing for sure, a woman is able to reach attainment. Buddhas aren't proved that spiritual attainment was also possible for a woman. Thus, both gender, men and women, have the same right and ability in spirituality. One thing for sure, a lot of women, not only one, have reached the attainment. In Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Theri Apadana, we learned that Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Theri attained Parinibbāna with 500 other bhikkhunis. 500, mind you, not 5, not 50. And that happened when the Buddha was still alive. One thing for sure, the fourth pillar of Buddha Sasana was there when the Buddha was still alive. Our teacher recognized that. One thing for sure, the Buddha honored the fourth pillar of Buddha Sasana very highly. Well, we can say Yes, but that was so long ago. Now the situation is different. After Buddha's passing, it is difficult to reach any spiritual attainment. Society is not the same. Right. Centuries ago, at the time of the Buddha, so many people were interested to live the spiritual life. They seriously wanted to find ways to come to the cessation of suffering with the wonderful teaching of the Buddha. A path had been built to go to the end of dukkha under the Buddha's guidance, which is so beautiful at the beginning, beautiful in the middle, beautiful at the end. A lot of disciples attained the highest possible attainment, arahantship. But now, alas, now lifestyle are relatively going to the opposite. Worldly pleasures, with so big world population, competition is so strong and success is measured by worldly achievement. So many people live in materialistic world, forgetting spirituality. They live to gratify craving, aversion, delusion. They do not want to control their mind, speech, and physical actions. It goes without saying, they are running towards suffering. Dukkha, it shows the characteristic of life. Anicca, things change. But Dhamma does not change. Again, aren't we lucky to still have Dhamma, although the Buddha has long passed away? Dhamma, as the teaching of the Buddha, is our guidance in our everyday lives. So, despite the hardship we face from day to day, we can still move on in the path as taught by the Buddha. Dhamma guides us to gradually develop our wisdom. In this fourth pillar of Buddha Sasana, we learn to perfect our mental, vocal, and physical actions. It is in this way that we should train ourselves. Why? Because we do not want to be called fools by the Buddha. Rather, we want to belong to the group called wise people. The Buddha has clearly stated this in Cinti Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 3.3. Because the fool has these three characteristics of a fool, marks of a fool, manifestation of a fool. What three? Here, a fool thinks badly, speaks badly, and acts badly. If the fool did not think badly, speak badly, and act badly, how would wise people know of him? This fellow is a fool, a bad person. But because he thinks badly, speaks badly, and acts badly, wise people know of him. This fellow is a fool, a bad person. These are the fool's three characteristics of a fool, marks of a fool, manifestation of a fool. The wise person has these three characteristics, of a wise person, marks of a wise person, manifestation of wise person. What three? Here, a wise person thinks well, speaks well, and acts well. If the wise person did not think well, speak well, and act well, how would wise people know of him? This fellow is wise, a good person. But because he thinks well, speaks well, and acts well, wise people know of him. This fellow is wise, a good person. These are the wise person's three characteristics of a wise person, marks of a wise person, manifestation of a wise person. Great homework for each of us. My dear Dhamma sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen, although we do not live in the same conditions and situations like Mahāpajāpatī Gotamīs, actually we are not all together in a disadvantage. The fact that so many people lived a spiritual life at Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī era shows that spiritual life is not something special. Everybody does it. Maybe that was what people said. However, the present conditions and situations create a tremendously big difference. Our Dhamma life is extraordinarily different from the common lifestyle, and so it shines forth as a unique way of life. People might not be interested in joining us, but certainly they can see that our Dhamma life is different. What we must keep on doing is showing the world the way to the cessation of suffering, how to be happy no matter what, when suffering then devours them as its victims. Maybe they will start searching in the opposite direction. If they have enough accumulation of merits from the previous life, maybe they will start living a Dhamma life to go to liberation with our guidance as the disciples of the Buddha. As Bhikkhunis, we are lucky to have the trace left by Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Theri. She was lucky to have been born at the same time when Buddha Gotama was born as a human being. Following the teaching of the Buddha, she was at last liberated, Nibbāna. Exactly the same as what we want, Nibbāna. But a big difference we can see between her life and ours. In Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Theri Apadana, we learn that she was also very lucky to have been born at the same time when Buddha Padumuttara was born as a human being. It is interesting to see that if Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī became the wife of King Suddhodana at the time of Buddha Gotama, she was born into a very wealthy family who were also the disciples of Buddha Padumuttara. Thus, in both births, she was lucky to not live in poverty, a good foundation for the opportunity to learn Dhamma, as she did not have to work for a living. It is also interesting to see that at the time of Buddha Padumuttara, she witnessed a very striking view how Buddha Padumuttara placed his aunt, who was a bhikkhuni, in a foremost position. She was at awe to see how Buddha Padumuttara honored his aunt. And so she aspired to that position. She aspired to the position of a Buddha's aunt, to be a bhikkhuni. What about us? We do not know what happened to us in the past. But one thing for sure, we know that now we have come to what we aspired to be a bhikkhuni. Let us be the best bhikkhunis we can possibly be. My dear Dhamma sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen, in the past, there were many disciples who attained Nibbāna under the direct leadership of Buddha Gotamī. That happened because at that time, many human beings were aware of the importance of spiritual values. So they pursued it seriously, freed themselves from defilement of cravings, aversion, and delusion. No wonder many of them achieved the goal, liberation. We are now in different era, when the defilements are served in so beautiful wrappings that they are alluring, fascinating, tempting, just like sweet poison, which surely will kill those who grasped it. Ironically, these fools grasped the poison happily, not knowing that they will soon be dead. Alas, it is our duty to unwrap the beautiful wrapping. It is our duty to reveal the danger of the poison of greed, hate, and delusion. But first of all, it is our duty to empower ourselves with wisdom. We must strengthen ourselves with Dhamma, with our Dhammic daily life, so that it is unshakable. We must hold dearly the teaching of the Buddha pertaining physical, vocal, and mental conditions and actions. Otherwise, we will not be able to help those fools. There is big danger that we ourselves will become fools who are attracted to the poison. Yes, there is dukkha in every aspect of life, just like what Buddha has taught and shown. To be able to get rid of it, we all need wisdom. It is not easy to live as bhikkhunis in this present era, as there are only so few of us. Yes, it is not a reason for us to quit or to divert from the path, just like what Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Theri showed. She was true to her aspiration, and we learn that she succeeded in reaching her goal, Nibbāna. We are still so far away, but we must not despair. Why? If we continue walking along the Dhamma path, one day we will come to our destination. How? Again, we are fortunate to have got Dhamma, the guidance from our great teacher, it is clear that we must use our wisdom in every step we take. We must keep on without fail, increasing, maturing, and perfecting our wisdom, so that we can train ourselves in the Noble Eightfold Path. 1. Right view. 2. Right intention. 3. Right speech. 4. Right actions. 5. Right livelihood. 6. Right effort. 7. Right mindfulness. And 8. Right concentration. Well, we know all the theory, I suppose. So now what we must do is only to put it into practice. Let us guide ourselves, urge ourselves, force ourselves to use all the theory we know into daily practice. Let us keep on increasing the quality, the earnestness, the seriousness of our daily practice. Again, let us use our wisdom and intelligence to realize that the goal is still far, far away. We must strive very hard to attain what we want to attain, Nibbāna, that we must uproot the defilement, lobha, dosa, and moha. Quitting is not a choice. Yes, it is not an easy journey, just like what Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī has proved. Yet we have a very precious goal, which is worth all the pain and hardship and perseverance when our practice has become a second nature, has formed a skill we do every day. Things will certainly be easier because we have come to effortless effort. We can do it, my dear Dhamma sisters and brothers. Yes, we can do it. The fact that we have been born as human beings, the fact that we have come in contact with Dhamma, the fact that we have chosen to be bhikkhunis, the fact that we have Bhikkhni Sangha to work hard together, hand in hand. All these things make it easier for us to develop our wisdom and attain liberation. As long as we do not quit, as long as we keep staying in Dhamma, like Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī. My dear Dhamma sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen, in Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha has also given us a guidance concerning wisdom. There are 8 causes and reasons that lead us to acquire the wisdom fundamental to the spiritual life and to make our wisdom increase, grow, and fully develop once it has been acquired. 1. Living, relying on a spiritual teacher and setting up a keen sense of conscience and prudence for others with warmth and respect. 2. From time to time, asking questions to clarify what is unclear and obscure, to dispel doubt regarding the many doubtful matters. 3. Perfecting with withdrawal of both body and mind after hearing the teaching. 4. Being ethical restraint in the monastic code, seeing danger in the slightest fault. 5. Being learned, remembering and keeping what we have learned. 6. Living with energy roused up for giving up unskillful qualities and embracing skillful qualities. Being strong, staunchly vigorous, not slacking off when it comes to developing skillful qualities. 7. Not engaging in unworthy talk. We should either talk on Dhamma or invite someone else to talk on Dhamma. Otherwise, we respect noble silence. 8. Meditating, observing rise and fall in the 5 grasping aggregates: form, feelings, perceptions, mental activity or formations, and consciousness. That is our inner struggle. So much to do, so little time. Samvega. Meanwhile, as we are a part of society, there are other things we can do as a community. We have done a lot of good karma as the 4th pillar of Buddhism. Although we are still young as a Sangha, let us keep in mind what we have done, are doing, and will do in the future. Contribution to Buddhism. 1. With the completion of 4 Buddhist pillars, Buddha Sasana is stronger. 2. What the Buddha has taught can go continuously from one generation to next generation. 3. As a pillar in Buddhism, Bhikkhuni Sangha can take action to explain to the world what is Dhamma and what is a-Dhamma. Contribution to society. 1. Bhikkhuni Sangha functions as a home for women who want to live spiritual lives as bhikkhunis, who want to struggle to attain liberation. After all, many women have attained Nibbāna. 2. Bhikkhuni Sangha functions as a community for bhikkhunis to get encouragement in learning, practicing, and struggling to eradicate suffering. 3. Bhikkhuni Sangha brings positive changes to society by propagating Dhamma. Contribution to the world. 1. Bhikkhuni Sangha is a mind opener, showing that gender is not a decisive factor for an individual to reach perfection in spiritual attainment. 2. Bhikkhuni Sangha gives well-being, benefits, safety, peace, and happiness to human beings. Ladies and gentlemen, let us use this commemoration of the Parinibbāna of Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī to strengthen our aspiration. We, like Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī, aspire to attain Nibbāna. May we be protected by the Triple Gems. May the best come to us all. Thank you. Namo Buddhaya.